Are you a highly skilled professional or tradesperson and interested in moving to Melbourne or Victoria? If you have a skill that's in demand, the Victorian Government can nominate you to support your visa application. Think of nomination as visa sponsorship. It's endorsement for your visa application. It's like bonus points. There are two types of visas that the Victorian Government can nominate you for. There's the Skilled Nominated Subclass 190 visa, and then there's the Skilled Regional Provisional Subclass 489 visa. Let's start with the Skilled Nominated Subclass 190 visa and take you through 4 easy steps that Ahmet took to apply for visa nomination. Ahmet knew he wanted to move to Melbourne, so the first thing he did was check whether or not his occupation was on the Victorian Government's visa nomination occupation lists. He found this list on the Victorian Government's Live in Melbourne website and saw that his occupation was listed. He then went on to check other requirements he must meet to be eligible, including having a formal skills assessment for his occupation. The age criteria: he had to be under 45 years old. And he had to meet specific English language and work experience requirements for his occupation. These requirements were listed next to his occupation on the visa nomination occupation lists. And importantly, he had to commit to living in Melbourne or elsewhere in Victoria for at least 2 years. Ahmet believed that he would meet all of the requirements, so he submitted an expression of interest through the Department of Home Affairs Skill Select website. He made sure he selected the correct visa stream he was after and nominated Victoria as his preferred state. He then went on to apply for Victorian Government visa nomination through the Live in Melbourne website. Ahmet made sure he had all of the documents required to complete his application and applied for the same visa stream he'd applied for earlier through the Department of Home Affairs Skill Select website. Ahmet received an email with a reference number within 7 days of lodging his application, and he waited. He knew that he would have to wait up to 12 weeks for his nomination to be assessed. He then received the great news: the Victorian Government nominated him. He was then invited to lodge a visa application through the Department of Home Affairs Skill Select website and followed the instructions given. Now let's move on to how Maria applied for the Skilled Regional Provisional Subclass 489 visa. This visa was a great option for Maria, as she didn't have enough points to be eligible for the Department of Home Affairs Skilled Nominated Subclass 190 visa, and she was happy to live away from the city. She found the list of regional Victoria areas, including postcodes, on the Department of Home Affairs website. Fortunately, she met the 489 visa eligibility criteria, which is the same as the 190 visa, as well as the extra requirement to secure a job offer in her nominated occupation in a regional area of Victoria, in a great location outside of metropolitan Melbourne. And her job met all of the visa requirements. It was permanent, not casual work, at least 20 hours per week, relevant to her nominated occupation, and she would be employed for at least 6 months. She submitted an expression of interest through the Department of Home Affairs Skill Select website. She went on to apply for the Victorian Government visa nomination through the Live in Melbourne website and made sure she had all of the documents required to complete her application. She also applied for the same visa stream she'd applied for earlier through the Department of Home Affairs Skill Select website. As with the process that Ahmet took with the Skilled Nominated Subclass 190 visa, Maria also received an email with a reference number within 7 days of lodging her application, and then waited up to 12 weeks for her nomination to be assessed. Then she too received the great news: the Victorian Government nominated her. This nomination gave her the additional 10 points needed to help her reach the Department of Home Affairs requirements. She was then invited to lodge a visa application through the Department of Home Affairs Skill Select website and followed the instructions given. For more information about skilled visa nomination, go to the Migrate section of the Live in Melbourne website.